What is up, you guys? We are back with a very special episode of the DISHIN podcast. We had Stanley Cup champ, number 10 from the Florida Panthers, AJ Greer, on this episode.
Driving the net, pass across, scores! AJ Greer!
Let's go. Huge thank you to AJ Greer for jumping on the pod with us. And we talked about everything that he's going to be wearing in the tunnel this year with the NHL non-mandating their dress code. We talked about his Stanley Cup run last year, some of his sneaker collection, and a whole bunch more.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the DISHIN podcast. Very special episode today, man.
Let's go. Why don't you introduce him?
Another guest here, man. Well, first off, we don't have a lot of guests on. We say it all the time when we do have a guest, so very thankful for this guy to be joining the show here. But we have number 10 from the Florida Panthers and Stanley Cup champ, AJ Greer, on the pod. AJ, welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Super stoked to have you. I know we've been talking about doing this for a little while now. We've been kind of having some back and forth combos, and I know you had a pretty busy offseason yourself here too. And I know, again, Matt, you're super stoked to be doing this, and yeah, we're excited for you.
Sure, man. Thanks for jumping on with us. Appreciate you always repping the brand too. We see we got the Navy hat on from New Era, so appreciate you, man. I know you and Nick have a great relationship and go back to the Cup run last year, so really excited to get into a bunch of stuff with you. And yeah, first and foremost, really appreciate you taking the time.
Of course. Yeah, it's funny. I was looking at Instagram and I start seeing these clips of, I don't know how you do it, but like the ones where the head kind of stays a certain place and then the body moves. And it's just like this cool videography that I haven't seen before. And started watching his stuff and then kind of grew from there. And then we started chatting. And then next thing you know, we saw each other. I think it was in Buffalo and then during the Cup run and stuff. So yeah, it's nice to kind of, have that full circle moment now.
Yeah, connect the dots there too. And also, dude, congrats on such a sick year, man. I mean, what a run for you guys. I know back-to-back for some of the guys in that dressing room, but I know you specifically, played a key role in really getting that going to the Cup final there. Yeah,
it's been an amazing year. I mean, coming from Calgary, I'd broken my foot in January and didn't really know what was going to go on after that. I had just we just had our son, and it was a really stressful time, not knowing what was going to happen. I didn't have a deal lined up. And then, with my foot, I was rehabbing it, but it wasn't getting better. And then next thing you know, July 1st came around and the Panthers offered a 2-year deal, and it just kind of fell in my lap as far as what I wanted out of my contract and what I thought my role was going to be with them and looking at the style of play that they had. And then from there, I kind of just rode the wave into training camp, knowing that, this is my job to lose. And, just as always, all gas for me. I mean, the energy and the physicality is basically the reason why I'm in the NHL. And I thought, personally, I did a great job at blending in with this group, being the reigning champs and kind of adding my little spice to the club, but also just not kind of disturbing any part of the culture there and really just coming into it and embracing it. And now, I couldn't talk highly enough about everything that's been going on in Florida with the organization, staff, and the players, of course. So it's really, really special. And not only do we get to live in one of the coolest places in the world, but also just being treated like the best and how the organization invests in the players. Like I don't think there's any better spot than here right now.
Yeah, it was fun to watch you too throughout the season, and especially too because you kind of, like you were saying, you play like more of like that grittier game too, but you were also in the mix on like the goal scoring end too. I was at, I don't know if it was game 1 or 2 in the Eastern Conference Finals, but you had a goal in that game, in one of those games too. I think it was maybe game 1.
It was game 2
in Carolina. Game 2.
Yeah, I was a game winner in game 2 on 3-on-2. Mikkola came down, and then actually Nosa came down on the wing. Mikkola was driving in the net, and then he got it in the middle, and his long stick, he kind of just made this beautiful play around the defenseman and just laid it there for me. And then all I had to do is like try and get it up, and it was just one of those plays that you look back at and everything worked perfectly, and it's just kind of like those happen, here and there. And they might happen in practice, but like once it happens in games and in a big moment like that, and I knew coming in to the playoffs, I told myself, I was like, you got to do your job, and you got to do everything you can to put the next line out for success. That's always what I tried to reiterate to Nos and Gadji on my line mates. Just kind of, don't worry about scoring, worry about defending and setting up that next line for success. Win your shift, whether that's making the other team ice the puck, whether that's no zone draw, beautiful breakout, good change, and then the ozone's going to come. But when you get an offensive chance and you bury it as a fourth line guy in such a key moment, so those are the goals and the plays that you kind of remember for the rest of your life. And then you realize, man, I really had a great impact in those key moments in the biggest stage of our sport. Very grateful for that. And it was such a fun time too, emotionally, physically, the roller coasters, but also just being with the boys and winning a game, being in the locker room, losing a game, and then going back to the hotel, playing cards, and kind of just trying to just, have fun together and be like, who cares? It's a 7-game series. We lost a game. Who cares? It was crazy, honestly.
I think we heard that from Tkachuk a lot too. It's just he would always talk about the bond and the brotherhood that you guys had. And I think you could really feel that and kind of see how it was reciprocated outside the dressing room that you guys have too. And I think it's a great point you make about going on such a deep run in the playoffs too, because I've never really looked at it from that perspective of trying to set yourself up for the next guys that are on the ice. And I think when you look at the span of a 60-minute game too, I think it's easy to think about how long that game is, but it really matters about how small those details are in the game, and those pucks that have to be chipped out at the boards and winning those board battles. And those games, I think, feel so long at times because every detail literally matters down to the minuscule. So it's cool you bring that up, man. And that's a unique perspective I think that a lot of people would appreciate hearing too, because you're kind of looking what comes next and how it's going to affect you, but also what's after your shift.
Yeah, especially the long season too. I mean, 82-game season plus you're playing postseason and your top 6 are hurting. Guys got to step up, right? So that's you guys in too. At the deadline, you guys had depth to begin with, but adding Marshy in the mix and having Seth Jones, it was so fun watching those two guys come into their own with you guys and really kind of blend in with the culture you guys have going there.
Yeah, I mean, I always knew Jonesy, for example, was a beast, and playing against him, and you always saw highlights, but I don't think they were kind of highlighted as much because he was in Chicago and they weren't doing as well. And I saw online mixed reviews about us going to get him, and I knew right away as soon as he came in, this guy was a beast, and this guy was going to be dominant. And now everyone's raving about him, but it's Bill Zito's a magician, really, especially going out and getting Marshy. Those are the type of guys that win championships. Marshy's just such a beast. He's such a gamer. Every day he wants to win that puck battle against you. If we got 100 pucks, he's going to try and win 100 of them. And he's just his foot is always on the gas. He will not take no for an answer, and just a great guy to have around the locker room. And so is Jonesy. And you look at that championship team, we had such great depth, but we go to get Marshy, you're not thinking you're sticking him on a third line. But somehow there's a connection with, Luosterainen and Lundell. And still to this day, right? We look at them in practice and there's just this weird connection. This guy from Halifax and these two guys from Finland. And you think to yourself, it's kind of crazy. They're so different, but somehow it just meshes. They know exactly what the other guy's going to do beforehand. And they work so well together. So you're talking about Brad Marchand on the third line. Anton Lundell could be a first-line guy anywhere else. And then, of course, the Verhaeghes, the Reinhardts, the Tkachuks, Barkey, unbelievable. This team is set up for success. But I think the work ethic and how the organization is run here as far as just wanting more, 3 cup finals, 2 cups, and these guys are absolutely giving it in the gym, and they want another one this year. And it's no complacency. Just everyone's on the same page, and it's so much more fun when you win. Anywhere in the league, you could play in any city. When you win, there's nothing better, right?
Yeah, and I think too, you guys have such a good mentality of things too. I saw there was a clip of Barkey. It was from a presser from training camp that you guys had, and I think it was one of the first pressers actually. And he was saying how it's not about defending the cup. It's about going to win it and going to win it again. And I think like there's such a difference in that mindset too, because like defending it, you almost kind of, in a sense, you kind of feel like, you know, you have a guard up. But if your mentality is to go in and win, like that's what you're focused on. You're not so much worried about, oh, like, you know, I'm going to get hurt here. Like, no, I got to go do this thing again. So
Literally a reset button. Like,
yeah,
exactly what it takes. And it's almost like we're going to try and mimic exactly what it is, but we know that things don't work that way. So how do we take that winning recipe that we had last year and find the little things that we know are going to help us get to exactly that point? I mean, it's recovery, it's the details, it's how you play in certain situations, and then it's just, you know, preparing for literally a 7-game series all the time, playing 3 periods, and it's a mentality. It really is, and it's nice to be here and see that winning mindset, because that's not only going to help me personally in hockey, but after my career, like all you got to do is put your mind to it, work hard, and know what works and stick to it.
yeah, that's a great point. What did you? So I wanted to ask too. Did you have any like favorite moments throughout the postseason and that whole run that, you know, obviously will really stick with you? I know like one you mentioned was obviously that goal in the Eastern Conference Finals, but was there anything maybe specific, maybe like after, during like the celebration, or was there like a moment that you had with the cup that maybe you took it back to your hometown, home rink? Like like is there anything that really sticks out to you there aside from that Eastern Conference goal?
And there are so many moments, but to name a few, I mean, Game 7 in Toronto. Like,
I was at that. That was nuts.
to be a kid from a small town in northern Quebec, to play a Game 7 in Toronto, packed building, and the feeling of knowing you're going to a Game 7 and laying it out all on the line, like there's nothing better. I've never experienced that in my entire life. Couldn't sleep, couldn't think straight. And you take the bus from that hotel and go, you know, 3 blocks away, and you look outside the window and all you see are Leafs jerseys, packed streets. They've got police courts everywhere. It's literally like you're in a movie. And then it almost seems like as soon as you get on the ice, it's just like you put these Beats headphones on and everything cuts out. And then you put blinders, and it's almost like you forget about everything that's going on. You don't hear the crowd noise. You just kind of like lock in. But to go from honestly being kind of flabbergasted at the whole, you know, feel of Game 7 and fans and like warm-ups were crazy, how loud it was. And then as soon as the puck drops, it's almost like, you ever see a UFC fight where they kind of just like put these lights down as soon as the fight starts, and then they darken the whole building? It kind of felt like that. Game 7 was amazing, and obviously it went well for us, but just that whole process, the 2 days, the day before and then the actual game, and then winning that game and then coming in the locker room and celebrating with the guys, was definitely one of the moments I'll never forget. I think Marshy's goal in overtime in Edmonton was unbelievable feeling, just being in the locker room there and knowing we're going home 1-1. That was a great feeling. Obviously winning the cup, being in the locker room after and just dancing and partying and celebrating all together. It's still in our gear till 5 a.m. Crazy feeling, like the whole night just screaming and kind of letting it all out. Like, you think back to when you were a kid and all the stuff you went through throughout your career, especially, you know, personally for me, a lot of stuff that I did and I gambled on myself, and it wasn't so much the easy route that I got to get to where I am today. Like, I just think about those times and how I knew there was something special. I knew something, you know, was going to come from my career, but being a Stanley Cup champion, like it's those moments. And obviously, I don't know if you guys saw the clip of just getting that last shift with Paul Maurice telling us, you know, as a fourth line, getting the last shift, those last seconds, and being out on the ice and throwing our gloves up. Like, that's something out of a dream. You dream about that as a kid, and it didn't even cross my mind till he brought it up. Like, I didn't even think that would be a possibility. And to have that opportunity to be out there, have that last shift as a Stanley Cup champion, like, you have no idea how much that means to me. And I'm going to, carry that forever.
I can't imagine playing for him, man. I can hear the passion in your voice. It just fires me up listening to you too. He just seems like an absolute character to play for, and just somebody you want to run through a brick wall for. Just an absolute warrior that leads you guys, and it's so cool to see. And I think for me and Nick, from the perspective where we sit here in Buffalo, it's just like, it was so easy to root for you guys and to watch you guys and to cheer you guys on. And I think there's nothing more than we wanted to see than a rematch from last year too. And for people that follow hockey and everything too, that was just like the two best teams that were going at it. And it's just so fun to listen to you talk about that, man, because I'm almost living about the experiences through you between watching the games and stuff. So that's really, really powerful stuff there.
Yeah, you can't describe it, like the highest level of hockey that I've ever played. And everything you do is to win your game, and you don't think about anything other than, just doing your job, like locking in. You don't have time to think. There's too much going on. And talk about milliseconds with the puck. Someone's on you and they hit you and they want to kill you. Like, there's anger involved in every single series, every single game. It was very, very intense. And it proves to you, like, I got through all of that, and we did it as a group. Like, it's so special to be able to tell, my kids one day and explain to them how everything went, and know that I'm always going to be champion with these 24 guys. It's a great thing.
Yo, real quick, I wanted to tell you guys about Ice Hockey Systems. We've been working with these guys for a little over a year now, helping them build out hockey educational courses for players, coaches, and families in the hockey space. Check out this video to learn more about it.
Hey everybody, my name is Dwayne Blaze.
This is Topher Scott. I'm Daryl Belfry.
I'm Dr. Meg Popovic.
And welcome to IHS for Families.
Drop the puck. Let's go.
The role of parent changes and evolves. You're raising a child that other people really want on their team.
Pushed forward. So that's awesome.
Same thing here, come up, that you would use in a game.
The puck is not the most important player on the ice. The feet on the other direction. So here we're going to watch it.
In a situation where you don't want too much upper body movement.
More than just skill. It's how that player feels about themselves. I have an insane debt of gratitude to this great game, because it really has given me everything that I have in my life.
IHS family.
With you, every stride.
Now let's get back into it.
I know you're a music guy too. Like, if you had to pick maybe an artist to describe your cup run, or maybe describe your game a little bit, or maybe a song, maybe who would you say there?
DJ Khaled was at our game, which was pretty cool in the playoffs. Didn't get to meet him, but just overall, like, he's right there, and he pumped the crowd up and stuff. That was pretty special. Man, there's so many songs, but honestly, like, it's a song that I know since I was like 5-6 years old, that we used to sing, because my grandfather on my dad's side used to be on this little motorized kind of wheelchair. And we used to joke around with him, being born to be wild, and he always used to roll around and born to be wild. But then I think about that song, and it's just kind of like, it does really resonate with, like, how my career went off. Like, at 14, I made a move to that many didn't make at that age. I went to prep school in New Hampshire. And most of the guys who I was playing with in Quebec just went to the junior major route. So I made a move there, and a lot of people were telling me it was the wrong move. It wasn't the right thing to do. And played 2 years there, and then skipped my senior year and did a few credits on the side to be able to go to Boston University. And I originally was committed to Penn State. And once an opportunity arose, and I got to speak to BU, I think it was the right fit, and especially going in a year early. So I ended up decommitting, and that was a hard thing for me to do. But committing to BU, I went there for a year and a half, and then my second year just didn't work out the way I wanted to go. And I was looking at the future lineups and the guys they had committed. And it was just a tough route for me to look at and be like, yeah, I think my development's going to be really good here. And I think I'm going to be able to make it pro. Like I looked at it as they got some really good players coming in. And it's going to be tough for me right now in my second year, still being on the fourth line. I got to make a move and I got to go and play and develop and because I know something special, but I still gambled on myself. I left a full scholarship out on the table, and a lot of people were on me about that. But I still kind of, stuck it out, and I believed in my whole heart that it was the right thing to do. And then 11 months later, I was playing my first NHL game against the Boston Bruins with the Colorado Avalanche. And then, I played in the American League most of my first few years in pro, till I was around 25. And, a lot of people kind of saw me as an AHLer for the rest of my career. And I knew something was there. And I just kept to it, and finally broke through with the Bruins. But just that whole ride, like knowing like it might not be easy, but I know something's there, like Born to Be Wild. I don't know. You listen to that track and you just kind of think to yourself, like, this guy's never gonna, he's never gonna quit. Like he's just wild. He's a wild animal. Like, and I am a little different. I bring a little energy but yeah, I think that song kind of resonates with me a lot.
I was going to ask you too, because you were talking about a little bit about the music that you make and stuff like that. And two questions for you. One, are you the aux guy in the room? Is that?
Yeah. Yep.
So, okay, there's that. But where did this passion for making music start? Because I saw you were on Instagram Live a couple days ago, just kind of showing some stuff you're working on.
Yeah, music was always a big part of my my life growing up. I fell in love with it at a young age and always came back to it. And it was something to calm myself, to kind of ease my mind. It was something I always had to have around me everywhere I went. And a big part of when I was working out as a kid, like music definitely motivated me a lot to keep going. And so you find these things that make you kind of, not make you, but motivate you in sorts of ways. You have to find certain things to get you going. And music for me was that thing. Like I fell in love with it, and I found ways to get my brain activated, and music made me think of a lot of things. When I listen to music, I always listen to a song. I always kind of picture certain things in my brain, and it makes me think. I don't just listen to music. And then I started DJing when I was about 15, 16 in my office, in my room. And then after that, once I went pro, I actually started DJing in a few clubs, and then realized real quick that wasn't the right thing to do if I wanted to make it to the NHL. You can't be DJing until 2 a.m. on a Wednesday and then show up to workout on Thursday thinking you're going to be good. So I had to quit that, and then found out about producing just through YouTube when COVID hit, and found out that, it could get my creative juices going, and you can do it from wherever, just on a laptop. Messed around with that and kind of fell in love with it just based off learning it off YouTube videos and meeting a lot of people in that industry that kind of taught me. And it's a cool little thing that I do. Hopefully it's something that, my son will fall in love with, and we can kind of share that passion. But like I said, it's just I need something outside of hockey to get my creativity outside and really just express myself and get it out of the way. And it's a fun little thing that I do. And I'm lucky because I just do it as a passion and I do it as a hobby. But I have some friends that, are musicians, are producers, and it's not an easy industry to be in. So it's fun to learn from them and stuff, but I'm lucky to do it as a passion, and I've evolved from it. And it's something that I really like doing.
No, you're a pretty fashionable guy into streetwear, hype culture, and everything.
No dress codes this year.
No dress codes, man. Exactly. Yeah, fired up about that. I think it goes into the CBA next year. Did the Panthers come out and say that you guys are going to be?
No, the NHL switched it, and now it's starting this year.
Oh, no way! I didn't catch that. That's sick.
Yep.
Sweet. That's awesome. Sweet, man.
Yeah, so
all right.
get that gear out to whoever you send it out to quick and tell them to wear it.
Let's go. All right, you got
Yeah.
a fat package coming your way then. What are three of your favorite streetwear brands that you're rocking with right now?
Streetwear brands I'm rocking with right now. I love Amiri, but I've kind of transitioned a little bit to the classier side of streetwear, and I'm rocking a lot with the loafer look now with the wide pants, maybe a tucked in white blank shirt. Like I think for me, when I dress, I try to have one statement piece and then work around it. I'm a sneakerhead, and I have a lot of pairs of shoes, and especially I had a lot of Jordans. So whenever I try to wear, a loud piece of clothing, whether that's the top or bottom, I try to work around it. And I wouldn't say I have one like streetwear brand that I like. If I see something unique, like I really want to like tap into that. And like I love the Zenyas. I love I've been rocking with like House of Airs. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of those. So Mark Russell is one of the guys in Florida that I work with, and we've been tapping into a couple different looks for this year. Keeping it like classy, but also like pushing the pace a bit, fashion wise. And I'm really excited for that. So you'll see a different couple looks, but I'd say I'm pretty versatile. Like I can do the whole streetwear. I can go classy. I think I'm gonna try and switch it up this year. It's exciting.
That's what's up, man. I love to hear that too. Yeah, it's funny. A lot of those more simple and subtle brands are really making a lot of noise right now, especially with essentials. And you said it like Amiri and a lot of those brands too. So yeah, man, pumped for you. This will be a cool chapter to have the NHL be more involved in like tonal fits and some of the stuff that we're going to see on the actual runway. So it'll be cool to follow along with.
I'm excited. I think the only thing I think that's going to make or break it is how the teams market it. Mm-hmm. If they don't buy into it, and if they don't kind of market their guys and invest a little in their content as far as promoting that new kind of culture, it's not going to do much. Like they have to run away with it, and they have to like help the players out as far as like videography, photography. And I know Nick, you kind of can understand that. Like it, guys can walk in however they want, but like it's got to be done right within the content creation, right?
Yeah, it's got to look good. And for you guys too. If you guys want to repost it, you want to make sure you're looking good, you're comfortable in that. Like you don't want to be looking awkward on like an iPhone clip or something. Like so. Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think for us too, on our end, that's something we really try and market. Like anytime, Matt, especially anytime he sees a player walking in, or maybe there's something in the off season that a player is wearing or rocking, Matt's trying to do a whole fit breakdown on the DISHIN account and just show people like, hey, this is what these guys are rocking, and this is what we want to see more in the game. I mean, suits and ties. Let's face it, it's traditional. Like there's a new wave of energy here, and I think that for you guys to express yourself in a creative way by just the fits you guys are wearing to games, like that's going to eventually go a long way. And I think it's going to open a lot of doors for brands and even these teams like the Panthers and other clubs throughout the league to find different like things that they could monetize and get ads for and things like that. So I'm
100%.
Excited for it.
I think suits are still great, and
oh yeah,
suits are a really nice piece of clothing, and guys rock suits and kill it. Like they look really good. But again, like you said, it's opportunities to not only monetize it, but certainly like let guys express it, and you're gonna see a lot of different forms of it this year, and hopefully in the years to come. But it has to get to a place where it's like it's not just used to not try and get something out of it. Like I think it's still, I think, and the guys are going to respect it because there's a lot of respect for the sport throughout the league, and there's a lot of respect for the league and the teams. But just being able to like push the line, and if you're not allowed, guys still kind of like use it. And there is a lot of money that is involved, especially like if you look at the NBA, right? Like there's a lot of guys that are using these platforms to just based off of their walk-ins, like being able to like use that.
Dude, we really appreciate your time. One last final question for you. If you could give your younger self a piece of advice, what is that advice you'd give to your younger self?
There are a lot of things that are unpredictable, that you won't understand anyways. And there are a lot of things behind the scenes that go on. I think being a guy who had to fight his way to the NHL and make it at 26, like, it's easy to try and dissect everything. And not only hockey wise, but also like try and figure out your life. You know, you're at 25, 26. A lot of time, like when I was 24, 25, I almost made the decision to go to Europe when I was in Bridgeport. I was literally one day away from going to the GM and just telling him, hey, it's not working out. I'm just going to go to Europe, get my bag, and, you know, squeeze every dollar I can, and then hopefully play till I'm 30, 32, and then call it, and then start my professional life. But, you know, there's just so much that goes into it behind the scenes, like I said. And just being able to like calm your mind and do what you do best. As soon as that happened when I was in Boston, and even when what set me up for Boston and my transition to the NHL was that year in Utica. And that's exactly what I did. I kind of, like I said, I almost quit and went to Europe, and then I got traded 2 days later after making that decision in my head, got traded to Jersey unexpectedly. And that kind of gave me a second life, being like, oh, you know what? I wasn't expecting this, and no one knows me here. I'm kind of starting from scratch. Let's just do this thing and have fun with it. And if it doesn't work out, then I'll go to Europe, no problem. And everything kind of changed from that point on. I was playing to just enjoy it. I was given everything I had and didn't think anything other than like my task at hand and that game that night, that practice that day. And I was enjoying being around the guys. I was enjoying being a great teammate. And that kind of just switched everything from like it feeling like a business to playing a sport that I love and making money out of it. Like, you asked me, being 15 years old, what would you like to the outcome of your career to be? I'd be like, I just want to play one game in the NHL and I'm good. You know, and then you get complacent, and I call it, you get stretched. Then you play one and you want 10. Then you play 10, you want 50. You have 50, you want 100. Like, there's never an end to it. And I think just being able to realize that you're living your dream exactly how you wanted it to go, and even better, and kind of just sticking to it and enjoying the ride. That would be definitely what I would tell my younger self. But and then on the personal side, that's the hockey side. The personal side would just be like, just be a good person, make good connections, be a personable, as personable as you can be, and just have as much fun as you can, and find the right people to surround yourself with. Because it's easy to make bad decisions when you're young. And at the time, I left home when I was 14, 15, so I didn't have anyone to depend on but myself. I was living in a dorm when I was 15 up until I went pro. So, you know, you have to mature a little younger than you would want to, and you have to make these decisions, and it's easy to make the wrong decision at that age. So, yeah, but you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way, because I know what it took for me to get here, and I'm grateful for it, and I can pass that along to my kids. But also I can take that and really tap into it once my hockey career is done, and try and transition that to the professional and to the business world, which I want to do. So, yeah, that's kind of my journey. Like, it was a fun ride, and it wasn't easy, but like, I embrace it now. I didn't embrace it when I was younger, and I was overthinking it, like I said, but I embrace it now. And if that's how my story goes, like, I'm grateful for it.
Hell yeah. I love that, man.
I think that's the best answer we've ever got.
Yeah, honestly.
I think we can relate to that so much, man.
Yeah, I could talk forever. Sometimes I got to figure out how to shorten my answers, but you know what? That's, like I said, I don't watch movies. I don't watch TV, man.
Yeah.
I can't.
You said that perfectly, man.
Yeah, honestly, that was so well said. But, dude, seriously, appreciate you jumping on. And,
thank
you know,
you so
obviously
much.
anything you need from us on our end, dude, like, don't be a stranger. Don't hesitate to reach out. We're rooting for you. We are so stoked to see you guys back in action in the next couple of weeks here. And, Yeah, man. Appreciate you coming on. You're the first Stanley Cup champ that we've had on the podcast, too. So stick
go.
taps for that.
Thanks for having me, and we'll see each other in Buffalo once I get there.
Yeah, sounds
yeah.
good. Yeah, dude, when you let us know when you get into town, you'll have to stop by the shop.
Sounds good.
Yeah, go win another one, man. We're rooting for you.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me. Have a good one.
You too.